excited. Okay, are we ready? Okay.
Round of applause for the Kyle.
Yes. Okay. Y'all, hey, I'm like, I don't know which camera to look at. It's been a while.
Hey, hello.
Yes, we're your Buttons babes, and we are back with another episode. Yes. Okay, so as you can see, we got our 3 cameras set up back. Who dis? And
if you didn't know, we do.
Yeah, yes, and so here we are, and it's a great day for us. Also, all right, let me slow down.
I'm Alyssa Vasquez.
I'm Alyssa Brayboy, and again, we are your Buttons babes. So, also, trigger activated warning. Sometimes our content is triggering. It'll make you uncomfortable in spaces, but we have agreed that we are here, we are learning, we're doing the damn thing. So, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into our push to start, something that pushed my buttons this week or over the past couple of weeks, because we have been figuring things out. Something that made me feel like good, bad, ugly, indifferent. And so, for me, I have been reframing the word whore. And everyone's like, excuse me, what? Usually it is negative in spaces. But you use it in different contexts. And I had posted something on my story. I saw this, it's not a meme, this picture or whatever. And it has this woman on the left-hand side. And over it,
That's great.
And I'm gonna try and post it or edit it in somehow. Anyway, and so she's standing there, and it says me over top, and there's all of these hands reaching out with other words on it, and it runs down. It says lover, creatrix, wild woman,
Creatrix.
Ooh. Yes. That'll be another. Oh, I also did not know what that word meant, and actually went and I was like, oh my God, yes, someone who creates and is in love with creating. I believe that I am defining that properly. Again, I'm like, where do I look? Anyway, and so it was lover, creatrix, wild woman, whore, seductress, witch, empress, and everything in me was like, yes to all of that, and I love all of those pieces of myself. And someone messaged me and they were like, whore? I don't know about that. And I'm like,
okay, well, you don't know everything about me.
But yes, they were like, oh, that's, I don't know. Sorry. Really? That's interesting with all of these other words. And in me, I have definitely been called a whore in a negative space. I have definitely,
do you have a vagina?
Yes. Right?
I would say anyone who is associating themselves with being a woman or femme presenting has been called a whore in all contexts of them.
And so, but I've also been called a whore in a way. It's like, boo, you whore, joking.
All contexts.
Yes. And it's a word that I have struggled with in the past, in the negative sense, and not felt okay in my skin. But also, y'all, in certain spaces, the bedroom, I fucking love it. Yes, talk dirty to me. Yes. And so I had to sit for a second and be okay, and I have started to reframe what the word whore means to me, and not allow someone else's ill intentions to to carry that, and just, I'm still marinating on it, but I have started to see it in a different light, and I'm realizing a word, it depends on the intention in which it is said. Same thing with bitch. Same thing, you
Slut.
bitch. Yes, it has so many different meanings depending on how you are saying it out of your mouth. And so, being okay, there have been times I have not been so nice to myself, and have called myself a whore, and instantly we don't talk to you don't talk. Let me slow down. I've had to tell myself, no, we don't say that about ourselves in this way. I don't know who you are right now and what's going on, but don't talk to me like that. And have started to fall in love with the word whore in a weird way. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And embracing it in a not negative way. I know the textbook definition for whore. Like I am aware, but something is pulling and
You're taking
calling.
it back.
Yes, I'm taking this word back, and I know a lot of people are like, I don't know. Well, then it's not for you.
It's not the word.
And so it has been continuously pushing my buttons in terms of discovering this word, leaning into it in certain spaces. I've had someone in my life recently who has changed how I associate that word, or is also adding to the way that I'm exploring it.
Helped
I'm
improve it and helped you see a new light. That's awesome.
I'm
I mean, that's really important to not project what we might feel or think we know or feel about something, because we see many people project things that we're like, well, we know what your problem is because you have a problem with this. Clearly, this is your struggle, but you're you've recognized this is the struggle,
right?
And you're also like, fuck you. This is not my struggle. I don't want this struggle anymore. So that's awesome.
And I do believe a lot of it has to do with the fucks falling away as I get older and realizing
fucks.
Yes, I don't give any more. I'm like, oh my God, yes, there is a whore in me, and I fucking love her. I love all of the pieces of me, the good, bad, the ugly, the indifferent, and leaning into shining light on those dark spaces, or those misunderstood spaces, or what other people have put their idea onto me of what that is. I don't want to be there anymore, and I'm redefining it for myself, and I love it. And I am okay with that piece of me. And so that was my push to start as I've been navigating.
As you've been pushing that start.
Yes.
And kind of going back and navigating. I mean, that's good. That's hard. There are a lot of words, I think, for all of us who are people, that it's a good word sometimes, and it's a really fucking bad word other times.
Right?
And it's it sometimes even when you say it out of your mouth, you can feel the or when someone says it to you, you can feel the aggression or the hate or the attitude
yes.
that comes out of off of their tongue, or just when they say the word, you're like, okay, didn't he just say it like that?
Right?
Yes.
I had another
I
example.
also have
It's
never
also
called myself a whore in a negative way, so I'm just I have said a lot of mean things to myself internally, but whore is not one of them, and I'm trying to, in my head, which sounds stupid, but I'm trying to go to scenarios of would I call myself a whore here? Why would I say that to myself in a negative way? It's interesting. I think it's just interesting, how different words have different power for us all, and a word that upsets me is not a word that maybe upsets you, but a word that upsets you, I'm there are no thoughts about that word happening here.
That's
it's
interesting.
It's just really interesting how words don't matter, but they fucking matter.
Yes, and it's funny. As you said that, a light bulb clicked in my head. Yes, I called myself that word in a negative space, but it came from someone else calling. And so yes, it was me, but it was their
not
voice.
Literally, you're me to me mirror, but
right.
Because it was said to you in a negative way, it almost echoes in your head so
yes.
later that you're
but it was
who
placed.
said that?
Yes, it was placed there by somebody else. It wasn't something that I created for myself. I allowed someone else to call me that, and accepted it, and then therefore took on that negativity, that definition
the
of
echoing later that you hear it still in that with that
mm-hmm.
however they enunciated
exactly
that negatively to you.
And in that moment, we're oh no, listen, Aaron Brayboy, we that. Who was that? Because it was who? No, anyway, because as you can see, y'all, it's gonna turn into a whole ass button. And so
listen, if you're new to us or if you're familiar, you know how much we love tangents and how basically anything we say can be turned into a button when we really decide to go into it. So stay tuned for word buttons.
Yes. All right, Mama. How about you? Like, what's gonna push your buttons this week?
Right now, what has been pushing my buttons from a therapy session is it's Sag season. So, round of applause for all my Sag siblings. This is our time to fucking shine, even though it's dark by 4 o'clock.
Bitch.
Whatever.
Sorry. I hate it here.
Yes. So I came to a pleasant breakthrough recently of like why this time is so hard for me. I love Christmas. I don't know if you can see my socks, you can't. But like I fuck with Christmas so hard. Like literally Christmas, I love Christmas. I love the holidays. I love everything about it. We go see lights.
Oh my
like,
God, yes.
I'm blasting Christmas music at
Non-stop.
midnight on November 1st. Like it's me. I love Christmas. But also now that I'm here, away from my family, away from Snow, it's a very different. It's super different. Like
Okay.
I mean, you know how Christmas is different from being away from family. Also, like it's different. I'm an adult. Like so many things, but I also like hibernate during this time. This is like I don't avoid people, but I also
Yes,
not like
yes, she does. Sorry.
I don't like do as many things as I do like any other time of the year, basically.
Got it.
And so I was like explaining to my therapist, like, oh, I'm not going home for the holidays because, you know, whatever reason that I, in short passing conversation, always offer some like, oh, like whatever, time, I have work, like, you know, just like things that you can say to quickly, like, I don't want to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, okay, but like, may I ask, like, can I press a little more into this? Do you feel comfortable telling me why? And I was like,
Wait, pause. Why
I don't go home and like do big shenanigans for Christmas anymore.
Oh, for Christmas, but because you go home for Thanksgiving.
Yes, I do go home for Thanksgiving.
Got
That's
it.
like Vasquez family, we have to be together.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, I mean, yes, I've already offered you my like little like reasons of why I don't go home. But I was like, you know what, honestly, I just want to be by myself and like do the things that literally only I want to do, that I don't have to like have someone else be like, okay, well, can you do this with me? Or like, I only literally want to do this. Or like,
You want to do the things that bring you joy
Yes.
without having to fit what other people want
Yes.
into your space or your thought. Like, you're like, no, Christmas is for me.
And I had never been able to properly articulate that because I just like things were not like in my mind molding properly to like grasp that. And so I like went through this huge explanation and like shed some tears. Like we did a lot of talking, and he was like, oh, so you're just kind of self-caring on an elevated level. And I was
Boom.
like, what? Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing, my
Light
guy.
bulb. Like, oh, look at me learning about myself. Self-awareness. Like, look at us growing. Yo.
It was such a like face palm, light bulb clicking, the bells chiming, birds flying over,
Christmas
like,
music.
So many sound effects were going off in my brain hole, and I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, duh. So yes, I'm finally like on my 2 feet in my fucking sparkly Christmas boots with my Christmas socks on. Like, yes, this is my favorite month. As much as it's like, so I have so many reasons why it's not my favorite month, and I'm not prepared to talk about that today. But you understand some of them. But like, I feel finally like this month I'm like really like I'm truly self-caring in a hibernation level that I'm like really also like I'm not a huge zodiac person, but I'm like, you know what, I'm fucking doing it this year. I'm doing all of the zodiac things that I think are necessary for me to really soak up all of Sag season, and so
I'm here for it.
So yes,
Do you feel there was a level of self-acceptance for you in that?
Yes.
Okay.
It was so weird because it was like, I was like, you know when you like talk about something that like makes you uncomfortable because you're like, I don't like have the answer, but I'm like, as I'm talking, I'm trying to get to the answer.
You're figuring it out.
And you're like word fumbling and you're like, blah, blah, and you like, you go in so many different directions and your voice warbles and like you choke up and then you're like, why am I choking up about this? Like this shouldn't be this hard. And then it was like, oh, like it just like, it came out. And it was like, home, like,
and then there's this deep breath and
yeah,
weight off of your shoulders, a little bit of sweating, a little tear.
Oh yeah,
like,
shit was sweating that I was like, what? I guess I should put deodorant on there. But like, yes, I also was like, oh, like there's so much room in my shoulders now. Like I did a little shimmy. Like it was great. It was great. And so another long push to start. Happy Sag season to my fellow Sag siblings. This is our fucking time to shine. Even though it's dark.
Even though it's dark out. Well, you can shine in the moonlight.
That's right. Also, yes. Oh my god, full moon just happened. Like, so yeah.
That part. You know, there's a lot going on. And I literally, in this moment, almost like derailed where we were going to go with our button. But I'm going to stay on this train.
I was like, we can switch tracks.
Yeah, we can. And they might overlap. Y'all know how we do. And
if you don't, welcome.
Hello. We're so happy to have you. So all right. The button of the week this week is standards, or standard shifts. Because recently,
and really quick, if you're new with us or if you would like a refresher, the button of the week is the meat or like the main course of today's chat, of something that pushed our buttons in a good way, in a bad way, in an ugly way, in any of the ways that clearly we're like, we have to fucking talk about it.
Right? Hello? Because I have been in 2022, so many things have shifted for me in terms of going to a next level, and also as the fucks fall away, I'm realizing I have high standards and have, in case y'all didn't know, for myself, for others around me, like y'all know what standards are, and have always been given such shit for them. And
sidebar, I'm gonna just keep sidebarding, which is really weird because I honestly, I feel like after meeting you, being in classes with you years ago when we first were fucking in Dolafit, mat to mat, like, let's go, okay, Alyssa's talking, okay, yes, Alyssa, let's fucking go because Alyssa's talking. I was like, well, clearly she has high standards because she's fucking talking to herself during a workout and telling her bitch ass to keep going. So our bitch ass has gotta keep going. So it's weird, I don't know,
So we gonna get there because, I mean, through lots of therapy and through getting basic ass motherfuckers out of my life, like, I have realized, oh, okay, like, even down to, like, and so what I mean in terms of standard shifts, yes, I have always, there has been this level of bougie in me. There has been this level of expensive. There has been this level of wanting to be treated the way that I know intellectually that I deserve to be treated, but emotionally, like, something wasn't connecting, and I guess I didn't fully feel like I deserved that, but knew, like, these are my standards. Why is this so difficult? Like, I don't understand why there's such a negativity behind having high standards. For example, like, even the way that it is portrayed on television, when you see women that have high standards, they are, for example, oh my God, is it Regine from Living Single, or like, and also Whitley from A Different World? Like, you set a certain standard, but they are often talked about or given
othered.
Yes, they are othered in a way that is negative, and I have gotten to a point, I'm like, no, F that noise. Even so, like, down to VIP experiences at, festivals or concerts or certain things, I'm like, no, this is the level at which I operate, and I should not be ashamed about it. Like, it clicked for me. Like, one of the moments where I started to observe this is, y'all know from a previous episode, a bitch went to Disney. And
if you don't, go watch it.
Yes, I will try and link it above. Went to Disney, and we valet parked the car. And I felt at home. I was like, oh yes, this is how I do things. And now, God forbid, or whatever, no, not even, I refuse to go to Disney without valet parking the car. I had a standard shift. I was presented with something that was in line with who and what I am and what I want, and it makes me work hard for those things, or also want to be around people that are on the same station as I am. And I just realize a lot of times I was putting myself around individuals that were below my station. And y'all can look at me and say what you want in terms of like, oh my God, like, how whatever. No, I am humble enough to know that, you know, I could lose everything, I could be replaced in someone's life or whatever, but I also am competent enough to know that I am going to get it back, whatever I lose. And if I am replaced, please know that I know that that's a downgrade. Right. And so I am sitting in this season of my standard shifting and me getting on level with myself. And it's so interesting because as I look at standards and I'm like reflecting on the situations that I've been in my life, I'm like, oh, yes, I had high standards, but I allowed the others around me to, like, I accepted their low standards because I thought that my standards, like, I was asking for too much, that it wasn't attainable. And through that, I'm like, oh, so much can happen when, in terms of being in toxic relationships, toxic friendships, when you are not aligned and in tune with your level of standards and holding people to those standards. And now I understand a little bit more how people get stuck in toxic anything. I'm like,
yeah, hindsight is 2020 and I fucking hate it.
Man.
But I think that's like, it's self-awareness, it's like self-acceptance, but also like, I think sometimes people, high standards for many people, it seems unattainable because maybe they've never been exposed, they've never had opportunity for things, and also it's been shamed all around us. But I think also it's like that's accountability is not the right word that I'm looking for, but like there's an accountability adjacent word to why I think many people like poo-poo at high standards. And if you know the fucking word, please say it, you know. But like it's like because when I first heard about Disney and the Valley parking, I, who had been to Disney on a road trip and had the, like, you gotta drink your booze in the car and you park here and then you walk and you take the tram and, the plebe version. I had done that and been like, yeah, I don't know, I have done many things in my life that are like, yeah, this is not what I wanted to do, but like, here we are. Like, this is you roll with it. And that is like a thing that I am also working through. It's like not always being so down to just like roll through the mud when I don't need to, because I can walk around mud, but like I'm down to. And so I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, LOL, like, but like, great, it sounded fun, great. I also hate lines. I am used to being driven around everywhere, like for many reasons. That's something that I also am working through. But like, yes, I grasp it. I was able to experience Disney on this level, and now also I'm like, yeah, I'm not a Disney bitch, but like, I'm not gonna Disney again until that's how I Disney.
Right? Mama, you hit the... Yo, I was literally just about to ask you, and please tell me, how did it feel
like,
to valet park the car and not wait in line?
Yeah, like, it's great. Like, I don't have a purse. I'm not a purse bitch. we had everything that we needed on our person, and we went in, and that was it. There was no lines. We rode so many rides within the first like 3 hours of being there that I was like, wow, is it time to go yet?
No.
No, bitch, it wasn't, because we didn't. There was not everything open. You didn't have breakfast yet.
It was wild.
Best day I think that we had in a really long time, and so much of that experience was a high maintenance trip. I will say yes, but I also think that is how many people also have experienced the park and continue to do the park, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Because and not everyone does, but I will speak for Alyssa and myself. We work hard. And so there was a piece of me, I did not feel bad for any of it, because I knew
nothing to feel bad for.
right, that we deserved every moment. And I was so glad that I was able to share it with you. I was able to share it with Brandon. I was so grateful. And I mean, we also did California Adventure Park. Like we went to two parks.
Went to two parks, and yeah, I mean, so I feel like there's probably an idea bubbling in heads that maybe like we were like princess floating around. Like, okay,
yes,
so we still waited in lines.
Princess.
We still waited in lines. Some of the rides that we wanted to ride were broken and closed, and like that, like, yes, we did plead some of it, but like they're just little things that enhanced the experience so much for us. We had a plan of these are the rides.
Yep.
Like a literal map of like boom, 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 boom. Here, like it was a cruise director. That was nice. I hate having to make decisions when I am trying to have fun unless I've already planned ahead, or unless the group that we are involved in is all like loosey-goosey and just like let's
roll with it.
And so we had a plan and we followed that plan, and it was great. It was just like little things that can enhance, I'm gonna keep using that word, that can enhance anything. To some seems high maintenance, and to others
right.
is just like, yeah, this is how to do it, you know, like.
But I'm gonna backtrack on that, because you said something that like hit the nail on head. It hit hell. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. The hammer, whatever. But when you do not know, oh my God, now I lost it.
When you don't know something, you're unaware of it.
Yes.
Until it happens.
In terms of being exposed, you don't know, or you have a hard time forming standards because you aren't exposed to certain things. And so like that is a part of it in terms of establishing what your standards are, like having high standards, low standards, whatever, because you haven't been around someone or a situation that is going to make you take something to the next level or elevate, or you haven't been held accountable in a way that's like, no, that is not how we do things, or we're gonna do it this way. Like, I mean, I guess I would have, like, it never occurred to me that we could, and we're using this as a reference, as a standard, but I didn't know we could valet park at Disney.
I mean,
like,
literally,
who knew? Oh, but now
definitely I didn't.
Now I won't ever not do it. Like, I will find, like, I get exposed to certain things that are taken to the next level. Like, for example, I'm super grateful. Something that matters to me dearly in the way in which I take care of myself, I have a personal trainer. And I work my ass off to keep my personal trainer. Before, like, I knew of personal trainers. Like, that's something that you can have, but in my brain, I'm like, oh, that's, you know, maybe one day it's a little wasteful. Like, I can go to the gym, I can work out on my own.
I know how to use equipment.
Classes.
I can watch a video to do things. Like, I can like see like this is working my
right?
arm. Like, yes.
Right? No, it's different. And now I will not go back. It is the one thing that I do for myself in a way in which some people might think that my priorities are skewed, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, you're struggling to do this, but yet you have a personal trainer? Yes I do, because this is my instrument,
mind, body,
like
emotion, like,
it's my therapy sometimes.
Yeah.
And so, okay, yes,
not to be confused with, yes, we are aware that you should not rely on physical activity as therapy alone,
right,
like, disclaimer.
But for me, it is so much a part of the way in which I not only live my life and operate, but I mean, and take care of myself, but it is a standard and a non-negotiable that I have made for myself. And in terms of the way, like your mindset and the way that you think and the way that you set yourself up, if that's your non-negotiable, like, and you refuse to fall any lower, like what is it, like a want fulfilled becomes a necessity. Like, this is a
I don't know
yes.
if I've heard that. A want fulfilled becomes a necessity. I like that.
Yeah, like, it has become a necessity for me now, and now I don't operate, like, my life does not operate below the means of being able to have Shahada in my life.
Shout out to
Yes.
Shahada Kareem, Habibi Body Sport, live, laugh, love, life her.
Yo, she's taught me self-love. That's a whole other episode, self-love. Like, she has taught me and brought so many resources to, like, presented me with so many tools and so many resources in order to take care of myself, and like introduce me to this lifestyle that has elevated me in a way where, like, it feeds my level of standards and my station of being like, oh,
It's foundational.
yes. I was like,
It's
oh,
you're in the building of Alyssa Brayboy. It is setting you up to be on solid legs, on solid ground, not like some shaky shit in the sand that like,
Mhm.
well, when the next wave of life comes, you're gonna fall down again. It's like, no, when the monsoon that is existing in this universe
Yo.
of 2020 on the planet Earth that we are,
I'm grounded.
you're like, yes.
Mm-hmm. And it speaks so much to my standards also, because she has taught me how to not be ashamed of the things that I want, the things that I need, the way in which I deserve to be treated. Like, we had a beautiful conversation in the car yesterday about, she's like, listen, like, you are no longer allowed to date below your station. It's something that I used to do, and thinking that I had to bring myself down. Well, I was bringing myself down in order to pull others up. And she's like, we don't do that anymore. We're not.
You gotta
And
put
she's
on
like,
your own oxygen mask first.
yes. She's like, I'm gonna tell you. She's like, no, that individual. And I used to feel so terrible saying these things out of my mouth that someone, as I pause and get uncomfortable, is because it's not as acceptable to say that someone is beneath you. I mean, not saying like, or that they're not for you.
It's not, but it is. But it's
Like,
not, but it's a really weird
it's a-
because
Like, or
there are
that
people that you just see
Right,
passing
but-
you, and you're like,
that's not for me.
yeah, that's a hard
And,
no.
and yes, there are different ways that you can say it. The way that came out was really harsh. It is a harsh reality that, like,
The
the
world
way
is full of them.
like, some people are more equally yoked than others. But knowing and realizing, like, you are who you surround yourself with. And there is nothing wrong with wanting and knowing that you deserve more. And that used to be so hard for me, because I do believe that some of the people in my life that knew, like, who I am, what I'm capable of, what I bring to the table, they knew. They're like, damn, like,
I'm not gonna know.
yes! I was like, or I don't
And
know
you
why.
know sometimes, like, when you're in company with someone who you're like, oh, I don't quite know if I'm good enough for them, or I will say it if you can. You know that you are with someone, you're like, yeah, you're not good enough for me.
But the thing is, you can take that in terms of, like, the other person or even you, and realize, okay, am I being insecure? Is this rooted in my insecurities? Because you have the choice, you have the option to rise to the occasion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can be like, you know what? No, I might not be good enough in this moment, but I want to be better. How do I not lose this person? Whether it's romantic, whether it's a friendship, whether, like, how
Even
do I?
a job,
Yes.
a gig, a career, like, so many things.
How do I raise my
Car.
standards so that I can be on this level? Because I like it here. And I have been introduced to new standards, and now I don't want to lose them. Like, and now it's like, okay. And so as I'm, like, reflecting on 2022, we're going to be stepping into 2023. There are certain things, also, oh no, I can't. I was about to say, no, that's a train. Anyway, standards, deserve, things have been happening where I'm like, well, fuck. I'm shooketh at what is being presented to me and how I am learning based on how some of the new people in my life are treating me, holding me accountable, raising my own standards of being like, hey, Alyssa, you said you were this, that, and the third. You're not acting like this, that, and the third right now.
You're being the second or you're being the fifth.
Exactly. And so, come on. Like, we're not staying here. You say this is what you want, do better, be better. I'm like, yes, that's my tribe. Those are my people. And it has just been lots of standard shifts and lots of self-acceptance, and I'm curious, y'all, what your take is on standards. And it's also okay to know, like, I have low standards. Like, that's not something that I'm consumed with. Like, I'm a go with the flow person. I am a low maintenance person. And
you can also be in the middle.
Yeah.
I think there are many things that I am, like I said, roll in the fucking mud. Let's go. How do I get my hands dirty? Like,
yes.
I'm here with all of you. And then there are also things that I'm like, absolutely not. Tea for me, I'm gonna like really simplify things, but like I've always grown up drinking tea, right? Bagged tea is how I started drinking tea, and then someone introduced me to loose leaf tea. And first I was like, this is messy. It's like, whatever. Yeah. You know, I like my fucking Lipton green tea with some pomegranate in it. And LOL for anyone who, whatever. So I no longer drink Lipton tea. Shout out to everyone who's started their tea journey. But I like started getting loose leaf tea and like really looking into understanding like, oh, like why teas can be really expensive. There are some really fucking expensive teas out there. But for good, I mean,
because they're delicious.
They're delicious.
They are
yes.
worth it.
And that is like one thing that I will travel with like 10 different teas, because I'm like, I have a specific tea for breakfast. I have a tea for if I go to work. I have a tea for if I stay home and I'm working from home in the morning. I have teas for cramps. I have teas for my face. I have teas, like, I have tea almost every other hour of the day. Like, I fucking love tea. And sometimes when I have traveled and forgotten my tea, it throws me off my routine, and I am discovering that I'm a person who needs routine sometimes to just kind of like be able to continue floating when I'm out of my element. And I have had tantrums about not having my tea, and like I am aware of how fucking ridiculous that sounds. Viewers, listeners, people out there in the world. Yes, but I have had, you can check with boyfriend, I have had temper tantrums about not having a specific type of tea at a specific time of day because it wasn't available to me. And that is
it's
where
a standard
I am.
That you
that
have
is
set
like,
for yourself.
Yes, like I really need my fucking tea. And like, it's just interesting how some things matter to us and some things don't. I'm also kind of bougie about booze. Like,
but in my brain, I refuse. I will not drink bad booze. Like, when I do drink booze, it needs to be top shelf because you can feel the difference in your body. I don't drink light beer. I don't, like, there are certain things I'm like, I'm not doing that to my body. Absolutely not. I don't drink bad wine.
And that's exactly because you're like, I have been introduced to this layer, to this thing that like I grasp the benefits or what it will be doing. So if I'm going to be doing something to my body, I'm going to be doing it in the best, worst way, the worst, best way.
Yes, if I'm going to do something that's not good for me,
yeah.
I'm going to try and do it in a way that it's still better for me.
And that's, I think, like, when I go home, and I think we've shared this conversation before, but, like, there are certain things that, like, I used to eat or drink when I'm home that I can't anymore because I'm like, I know what that's doing to me.
Yes.
I don't like what it's doing to me, perhaps. So I will negate something, food, experience, I will negate things, understanding that I might be missing out on, certain things or not seeing certain people, but because it does not do me justice or benefits,
it doesn't
or
serve you
it
anymore.
Doesn't serve me anymore. And I think that's also something about living in California and not being from here that many people will kind of go off. I'm tangenting a little bit, but like
same.
There's a very like you're California now, and it's like, you know what? Yes, like I am. I know what I want. I know what I like. My standards have changed, and like as much as I have memories or whatever of things, or like that is how it is there, like I'm not doing that anymore. Like that doesn't serve me. And you can say what you would like, but that's okay. And I think that's like, if you are a high maintenance person or people call you high maintenance, it's not across the board, because there are things that I think we both still enjoy and like participate in that are not like high standards types of things, but like you don't like, it's such a wide thing to have high standards. And like you don't have to have standards for food. If you're like, yeah, I want to eat Taco Bell, great, eat Taco Bell. Like, but your high standard might be the car that you drive. Okay, great, then you know, like, this is the car that I'm driving.
Because it brings you joy.
Yeah.
It also goes into what brings you joy. And life is too
short
to not be lived,
and it's too terrible.
And to not have joy. Shahada shared this with me the other day. I can't remember who said it to her. I believe it was her sister, but was talking about, you know, your life is a movie. It's a show. And like the joy in your life should fill up those spaces, and it should not be like, and yes, there's gonna be negative things that happen, right?
Yeah.
But like those negative things that happen, those should be the commercials of your life. The joy in your life should not be the commercials of your life. Like your life should be filled with joy and have moments, like breaks of what's going to grow and help you build, instead of the reverse. Yeah, I don't want a life like my show is filled with negativity and heartbreak and all
sadness
of these,
and anger,
right?
and
And resentment and all of that. I want my life to be filled with joy. And if that, like, and yes, I have high standards with that. It's so funny, like you were talking about, like being, like, oh, you're California now, like, and like, yo, my family, like I'm so excited. I'm going home for Christmas. I'm going home for the holidays, and my family jokes on me, and it used to bother me, but now I've leaned into being like, yes, I'm that bougie bitch. I am LA, I'm West Coast woo-woo, I work out, I do all of these things. Like my mom's sending me, she's like, oh, I can get this for you so you can make your fancy milks when you're home. Like, cause I like nut milks and stuff like that. Or, you know, I know you need your celery juice, and I know you want your sparkling fizzy water. And she's like, my whole family is preparing for me to come home. And I'm like, y'all don't need to, like, stop. I will figure it out.
I can do that.
Right.
But it's also like, it's nice that they're making the space to accept that, like, this is what you want.
That's a good point.
Boyfriend, his mom, every time I go, she makes sure there's grapefruit, and I sometimes forget to eat them, and I feel bad then when I leave. I'm like, fuck, I didn't eat the grapefruit. And she always has celery and stuff for me to make celery juice. I do not make it anymore, and I need to remind her that I'm over celery juice for a little bit. But like, even my own family, yes, for a while would give me a hard time. But they have a nut milk in the fridge for me. I appreciate that so much. They do certain things that, even though in the same breath that they hand it to me, they will be like,
they will make fun.
Here you go,
yes.
LA. Yes. But like, I'm like, you know what? Yes, at least
Thank
you for allowing me to come in and turn the place upside down and remind you all that, you know, you need to eat better or whatever, you know what I mean? But like,
there's love there.
There's love, and I think that's the one thing that like can be great, is when people accept that your standards have shifted, and also like allow room for those standards to continue shifting, versus be like, no, and box in. I can't think of an example that I've had someone like box them in now, but I'm sure that you and anyone watching, listening, can also think of a time that like they set a standard and someone was still like, no.
Yeah, my baby sister was talking to my mom, and I've never met her husband, and so I'm going to, and she told him, she's like, I don't know how to explain my sister. Like, I don't know how to explain her. You're gonna meet her. You will see. She's this, like, this big thing. Like, I'm like, okay. At first it stung, but then I was like, you know,
indescribable is kind of a compliment.
Ma'am,
it's like priceless. It's like
I don't.
She is her.
Yes, and I'm a lot, and I have leaned into being like, yes, I'm a lot.
You're a lot, but you're not. I think at the same time, which.
And I love it. I'm like, yep.
You are very you, and that's like so important because you know who you are and you're continuing to know you're continuing to learn who you are. I think that like that has been a huge value in our friendship, is that like you are so confident in yourself, and there are many times that I'm like, I don't know who I am. Like I'm just like here, like I'm here, you know, just like here with all of us just trying to like survive today. But you knowing yourself so well has helped me learn things about myself, also to be more solid in my own 2 feet, to be like, yes, this is who I am, and maybe it sucks, but like that's who I am.
And I love me, even though I might annoy myself. I'm like, you are so annoying, Alyssa Aaron, but I fucking love you. And Mama, thank you for that, because
I mean, that's really important. I think to be able to be around, I mean, going back to the people that you're around, it's really important to be around people who know who they are, because their maps can help you read your own map of who you are better. And that's like just important. I mean, it's important for us all to like know who we are, so that when we come up against things or people or situations that we're like, question mark, we have a little bit of guidance, or we learn the hard way when we don't have guidance,
right? And be like, oh, that's not who I was. That's not for me. That's not who I am. Like sometimes you will go down a path where it's like, oh, this is abort. I need to get out.
You suddenly like are in a situation and you're like, whoa, this is not a TV show. This is real life.
Right? Like, ooh.
How do I get out of this?
But yes, okay, y'all. As you can, like, we're gonna rein it back in, and we're gonna move over to our push replay.
I almost said push to start again. So we're gonna push replay on a comment from our dear friend
Matthew Perkins. Is it? Oh wait, did I jump the gun?
Okay, so I lost the I was not linking what he's referring to here. So we're gonna skip this because
okay, yeah, you know what? I feel like this was a really long episode. We're pushing replay on the fact that, y'all, we have our beautiful 3-camera setup back. We are learning, we are growing, we are making things better and learning a lot of things on our own, and realizing that we are capable, we are accepting help. That is huge for me, huge for us, and realizing that we don't have to do this alone, we can't do this alone. And so yeah, that's our push replay. We got our 3-camera setup back. It's a big deal. Like, it's been anywho, so y'all, that's what we've got for you this week.
Please like, comment, follow, subscribe, share, download, rate, review.
We got our first Patreon. Oh my god, shout out to Eric White.
Yay, Eric.
Eric White. And I'm pretty sure it's Eric White. Yeah, yes. Like, I had a...
Maybe we'll
But yeah, shout out. Anyway.
Shout out to our patron. We are so excited to have you. We have some juicy deets for you later as we continue on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
Please feel free to send a DM or an email or a text if you have our numbers, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, feelings, opinions,
and
triggers.
Last thing, shout out to Kyle and Daniel. Yes, they made this possible. We appreciate you so much.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Yes. We did it! Oh my god, my legs. I can't. Okay. We're gonna push the button.